This is Vanessa Marshall, Harrison Dula from Star Wars Rebels, and you're listening to Coffee with Kenobi.
Hello, friends, and welcome to Coffee with Kenobi. I am your host, Dan Zehr, and I am delighted to talk Star Wars with you. Since May 2013, I've been committed to creating a positive, family-friendly, spoiler-free place for our Star Wars community. Imagine walking into your favorite coffee shop and joining a lively discussion about Star Wars films, Disney Plus live action, animation, books, comics, collectibles, or Star Wars experiences at the Disney theme parks. I want to bring that sense of community to this podcast, my website, special events, live video experiences, email newsletter, and more. Join our Star Wars community at coffeewithkenobi.com and be part of something special. Thank you to the official travel partner of Coffee with Kenobi, MEI and Mousefan Travel. Check out coffeewithkenobi.com/mousefantravel for a no-cost, no-obligation quote to the Disney theme parks, cruise lines, or anywhere else you want to go on your vacation. And please let them know that Coffee with Kenobi and Dan Zehr sent you. And speaking of Mousefan Travel and me, Dan Zehr, don't forget to sign up for the Disney Wish Cruise, the Coffee with Kenobi Disney Wish Cruise, June 16th to the 20th, 2025. Get your no-cost, no-obligation quote at coffeewithkenobi.com/Disney Wish. On today's show, I've got a two-for you. Two for easy for me to say. I have got Steve Sansweet and Anne Neumann of Rancho Obi-Wan here to talk about the incredible fundraiser that will be held in Seattle. So I talked to the both of them about that, some of the exclusive offerings for the auction, and how you can go and attend this incredible fundraiser and rub elbows with some amazing people in the Star Wars community. And after the break, I've got the one and only Jim Cummings. That's right, Jim Cummings, the voice of Winnie the Pooh, but you know him probably the best as the voice of Hondo Ohnaka. I caught up with him recently at a local con, and I'm excited to share that with you. So pull up a chair, grab your favorite coffee mug, and let's have some coffee with Kenobi. Joining us today for a cup of coffee. Look, one of the guests is a staple on Coffee with Kenobi. You know him, you love him. He is the executive chairman and founder of Rancho Obi-Wan, Mr. Steve Sansweet.
Hello, Dan. Great to see you again.
Great to see you too. I was sort of hoping for a different greeting that we sort of talked about before. Do you have anything else you could offer us? Like a
hello there.
There he is. That is outstanding. We also have, look, I've met this individual several times, but she has never been on Coffee with Kenobi. She is the president and CEO of Rancho Obi-Wan, Anne Neumann. Anne, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks for having me. Hello, everybody.
It is so great to chat with you both. We've got a huge event coming up. It is coming up on October 5th. It is in Seattle, Washington. And look, I'm excited to hear about this. I've read the press releases. We've shared things on the website. I've perused Rancho Obi-Wan's website repeatedly, but I want to hear from the two gurus of this event. Tell us what's going on.
Well, this is our first fundraiser since 2018, and the very first fundraiser since the beginning of Rancho Obi-Wan that is not at Rancho Obi-Wan. We picked Seattle and MoPop, the Museum of Popular Culture, because it does very much what we do, is show popular culture, music, guitars, props for movies, costumes, and it's a great space. Two of our directors are in the Seattle area. Gus Lopez, who has an amazing collection of props and costumes and has lent some items on a revolving basis to MoPop in the past, and there are some there now. And Lisa Stevens and her husband Vic Wirtz, who live a little north of Seattle and have an amazing collection of prototypes and toys and flat files filled with just incredible pre-production information and sketches and original art. And part of having it up in Seattle lets us do add-on tours the day before to either Gus's collection or Lisa and Vic's collection, or both.
Right. Wow. So how did this come to fruition where you thought, I mean, obviously you've got the space, Seattle, you just mentioned that the museum has just got so much wonderful space, but was it challenging to come up with that as a location or just kind of happen organically?
Actually, we had visited the Museum of Pop Culture a couple of years ago to see how they ran their facility, and it's such a great space. And quite honestly, we've only allowed maybe 100 people here at one time. We're on an old chicken farm, so there's really not a lot of space. We can't park anybody. The logistics are a little bit difficult. So
Challenging.
challenging, yes. So having it at Mopop, which is, like Steve said, a great museum, has Star Wars stuff in it. Um, they take care of a lot of the stuff for us. We can have a lot more people there and see people. We want to see everybody. Um, so I don't know. It just seemed logical.
Right. So it's almost like Rancho Obi-Wan's Gala 2.0.
Yeah.
So the gala, the fundraiser starts at 6 p.m. and goes till 10 p.m. You have a run of the museum for the most part. We have a wonderful guest MC, Mark Daniel, who has done a lot of the warm-ups and past celebrations and has worked off and on for Disney down in Florida for 30 years and is an amazing social influencer. And funny as all get out, and a big Star Wars fan, of course. So we're looking forward to that.
We're bringing a bunch of guitars. So if you've never been to the Museum of Pop Culture, they actually started as more of a Jimi Hendrix and music museum. They have a huge collection of music and guitars. They have a specific exhibit with guitars and a sculpture that's 2 stories tall of guitars. So we are bringing Star Wars guitars to complement their theme. And we're going to have a photo op where you can jam down on a guitar as well.
We'll have members of the 501st and Rebel Legion there in costume, so you'll be able to take photos with live Star Wars characters.
And we're going to have a ginormous live and silent auction. We've got more than 50 pieces up on the website that you can look at. And new to Coffee with Kenobi, we are announcing we are now allowing absentee bidders if you purchase any of the patronage donation packages. So they start at $250. So if you donate a minimum of $250, you will get the right to bid as an absentee person. You do not have to be in Seattle, but you can still bid on the auctions.
So we're just announcing that for the first time.
Wow, that's exciting. Well, thank you for sharing that on the show. And there's somewhere out there, Concetta is just smiling away because she texted me and said, hey, if in case they forget, remind them of the absentee bid. I don't have to do that because you already did the auctions.
Looking out for us. She also wants me to tell people that don't forget, we also have online, our general store is open, and it's only open until next Friday, the 27th. And then we will be closing the store for the rest of the year. So get on there and get your Rancho Obi-Wan t-shirt and a baseball cap and some books and support Rancho Obi-Wan.
I looked at the patch earlier and it's got, well, describe the patch. I want you to describe it.
So the patch and the baseball cap are made by a local company who specializes in designs for cities. So if you're in the Bay Area, every city now has like a baseball cap with a logo on it and a theme. And our theme is chickens because we are on an old chicken farm. And so it's a chicken walker chasing a chicken.
As it should be.
As it should be.
Yes.
Star Wars references everywhere.
So the auction, I'm glad you brought up the auction, and not just so that Concetta will stop banging on my door over here, but because the auction is very exciting. At the Rancho Obi-Wan fundraisers, the auctions are just absolutely spectacular. Can you kind of give us a preview of some of the items we're going to get to see?
Yeah, so keeping with that theme of guitars, we will be auctioning off a Fernandez Boba Fett guitar.
From Japan.
And included with that is a 1-hour guitar lesson with Brit Lightning from Vixen.
That's pretty cool.
It's exceedingly cool. So
yes,
we're trying to include some experiential auctions this year.
There's a wine tasting at Skywalker Ranch for 8 people.
Wow.
So they do wine tasting. It's great wine. Skywalker Ranch wine is just super. And it's a chance to get onto Skywalker Ranch, which is very difficult for most people. And they have a little charcuterie board that comes with the wine tasting. So it's a very, very nice experience up in Northern California.
Yeah, and there are a lot of crew items. So there's some vintage crew t-shirts donated by Gus, an episode 9 crew gift, an episode 1 crew jacket, a lot of really hard to find crew items, some postcards signed by Dave Filoni, crew gear from Ahsoka, a little set of Lucasfilm holiday cards from over the years. Lucasfilm no longer sends physical cards. They send emails, but we have some of the old physical cards that they used to send.
Which were absolute highlights. They were tremendous fun.
Yeah, we miss those.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the beginning a little bit. I love the story of how the two of you began collaborators and partners in crime, as it were, but let us know sort of the beginning of the two of you meeting and collaborating on this incredible museum.
Well, we met at Comic-Con 2004, 20 years ago.
San Diego. No, 20 years. Can't be 20 years.
20 years.
It must be 10.
Absolutely,
you must be wrong.
No, 20 years.
Oh, my goodness.
I know. What have we done in 20 years, Steve?
I was a kid.
So was I.
I still am.
So
at heart.
That's right. Absolutely.
Definitely have not changed inside.
No. So we met at San Diego Comic-Con. Anne was doing work for an autograph company.
Official Picks.
And who was there at the...
Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher. The Lucasfilm Pavilion had the X-Wing fighter that took up the whole space. It was a really exciting year.
And that may have been the first year that we had the Lucasfilm Pavilion.
2004?
Yeah, it may have been.
Oh, wow.
Which
Nice.
I fought for internally for a couple of years. And I had to prove why we should do that. And to this day, there's a Lucasfilm Pavilion on the floor of San Diego Comic-Con.
Okay, and those of you who were there, Hall H, when Steve announced the title to Revenge of the Sith, was spectacular.
Great.
And you pulled the shirt out, right? And that was
I pulled the outer shirt off, and I was wearing the logo for episode 3, and people just jumped up, and I said, and by the way, this is now available at the StarWars.com store in the Lucasfilm Pavilion, and people just ran out of the room. And the people who run San Diego Comic-Con were a little upset at that. They said you should have given us some notice so we could have slowed people down a bit.
Enthusiasm. Fans are very
great enthusiasm.
Yes.
So you're there at Comic-Con together. Did you go and approach Steve, or how did you two actually start chatting?
We have a mutual friend, Philip Wise, who owns Official Picks, and I was volunteering for them at the time. And I had run their booth, and as people do, we all get together for dinner here and there.
It was at the Spaghetti Factory at a long table, and conversation was going on, and I said, I've just lost my number 2 person. Does anybody here want to volunteer for a no salary, no income job inventorying a Star Wars collection? And Anne raised her hand. And I said, sold. And so then we talked.
Yeah.
And
I needed a change. I was in I had born, raised, lived in Texas, and was looking for something new and different. And I thought it would just be, I'd come out for 6 months. I brought my cat. I'd inventory everything and then head back to Texas. And I never finished any of it.
And your dear friend continued to purchase things, so it made it kind of hard to inventory, didn't it?
I know, it's just impossible.
Man. I've slowed down a little. The income isn't
Yes.
what it used to be when I was working full time, but I still collect things, and there's still great things out there that I'm finding. Sometimes I find the biggest treasures in my own collection that I have forgotten I acquired. So
billboards, posters, Lego.
Yeah. Well.
Oh my gosh, the Lego. I mean, one of my favorite things to do is to text Steve when some new big Hasbro thing comes out and say, "What are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do now?" Where they quit making all these cool things, but they don't stop, and we love them for it. Rancho Obi-Wan is still taking tours. Obviously, talk about the tours and how tours are working now.
So I would tickets are sold online, ranchoobiwan.org, and we only do tours on Saturdays, and each tour only has 12 guests, and we limit it that way so that everybody can hear what the docent is saying. Everybody has a really high quality experience, and tours are about selling out maybe 2 to 3 months in advance. So I would suggest, if you want to come visit, please plan way far in advance. And Steve no longer does the whole tours, but you will definitely meet Steve and take pictures and ask questions.
Yeah, I have a fun time doing it. And the docents are trained on my stories, although after all these years, it's sort of like whispering down the lane. Sometimes I hear things and say, really? Well, it's close enough.
All the docents are excellent.
We are so lucky to have docents and volunteers who are amazing people. Somebody just posted today, David Buckley. They can't believe it's been 8 years since he did his first tour.
Yep. All of our docents have been doing them a very long time. We've got 2 new docents who are excellent and 1 in training. So always bringing in new people.
Yeah.
That's great. So great. Well, there really is nothing like going through Rancho Obi-Wan. And after all these years, I'm sure that there are still, when a child or an adult who's a kid at heart, like all 3 of us, when they start to see the collection and the smiles flood, and you can see in their eyes those memories and those synapses firing about the love they have for Star Wars, it's still got to give you a thrill even after all this time. It
does. That's why I love connecting with the tour and chatting with people. And we just had a tour. When was Werner's tour? Last Saturday, this weekend. Yeah. Some of the people on the tour were saying, I remember that as a kid. I just love Star Wars. I still love Star Wars. And seeing it again just renewed the enthusiasm that I have for Star Wars.
Yeah. Nostalgia is an interesting emotion. It has a lot of nuances to it. It has, usually comes with feelings of warmth, feelings of being uninhibited, being a child, that a sense of wonder, and all of the things that we show people on the tour. I think, it depends on what you had as a kid or what you connected with. It evokes that nostalgic feeling, and it's just joyful.
Amen. Amen to that. And one of the thing that always takes my breath away is, of course, the action figure tower. I could stare at that thing all day. I think I have at one point. It's spectacular.
This was created for us by Target. We did an exhibit for Target at LA Live the weekend of the premiere of Episode 7. And they had fairly like an acre with different tents, geodesic domes.
Yeah.
And they created that. I mean, when Anne first suggested that we give them one of each of the action figures from the vintage line. I almost killed her.
Steve, no, there's a weird little festival or little gathering here in Santa Rosa in the fall, and they always have a giant table full of like gourds and pumpkins and different squashes, and that's what I had in mind. I was like, why can't we just have like a mound of action figures, just huge piles of them? I think like as a sculpture. And Steve wasn't having any of that, but they came back with like, it's very classy. It fits all 115 original action figures minus a few.
109.
I don't know.
I go back and forth on that. What's an action figure? That was a little discussion I had with the last action figure book that I did. Is Jabba the Hutt an action figure? Well, no. Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
He's a speaking
No,
part.
he's not. Yes, he is.
Yeah.
So the publisher won on that one.
Okay, well, we couldn't fit Jabba in the tower.
No, he would. Plus, the package was a whole different kind of a situation too. But you've also got people don't talk about this as much, but over on the wall, like on the way towards the bathroom, you've got them all loose. Plus, you've got the Power of the Force figures there too.
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff in this collection.
It's true.
We had intended on lining the hallway up there with all of the action figures, but we would not have had enough space.
No,
because at that time there were more than 3,000 unique action figures, including all the variations. And now there's what do you think? I mean, who knows?
Another couple of
thousand.
Yeah,
easily. And they're all more. Plus, you've got the Black Series and staggering.
Yeah.
So the Rancho Obi-Wan fundraiser. By the way, the art. Talk about the poster because that's gorgeous. We got the Millennium Falcon and a guitar. Speaking of Star Wars and guitars, got the Space Needle in the mountains. That's a beautiful design.
So Kurt Hanks, who is part of the Sarlacc fan group in Seattle, did the artwork, and he really drew on Seattle's musical history, the grunge music movement, and the upright guitar. He says this is like a real like symbol of Seattle music history, and we haven't posted it yet. But one of the Sarlacc crew also is making a Millennium Falcon guitar art piece.
Cool.
That will be part of the live auction.
Wow.
And we're going to feed people and make sure they have things to drink. So we'll have some videos to show them, and we'll have a pretty important announcement during the evening.
I was just going to ask about that. I know that's one of the things on the website. There's a major announcement coming.
No, super
Looking
secret.
Forward to that. Yes, absolutely. Well, Star Wars and secrets, those are good. They're always good. They're always good. So please let everybody know where they can go to find and purchase their tickets for this 2024 fundraiser. Again, on October 5th is it called Mopop or Mop-Up?
Mopop. Yeah.
Mopop in Seattle.
That would be at Rancho Obi-Wan.org. No dashes, no spaces. Rancho Obi-Wan.org.
And I will, of course, be posting that on Coffee with Kenobi's website as well.
And you can look online now for the beginnings of our posts on the auctions. We'll be adding things to that as we approach October 5th. And we welcome all people from Seattle and elsewhere in the Star Wars community to come and help us celebrate. We have these fundraisers because the costs of running this museum are just not covered by the regular tours. We don't use any of the money we collect to buy things for the collection. That's on me. And the money we raise is for insurance, which is just like gone up sevenfold in Northern California because of the wildfires in the past. Maintenance, utility bills, which are also incredible out here. So it's a huge help to help us continue to inspire generations of Star Wars fans.
It's for an incredibly important cause. It's at a gorgeous location. You're going to meet wonderful Star Wars people and reconnect with friends that become like family from all over the world because of this amazing franchise. Well, Anne and Steve, thank you so much. I'm so disappointed I won't be able to be there, but I'm very much looking forward to the auction and seeing all the great photos and things that are going to happen at this event. Best of luck, and I cannot wait to see what the big announcement is as well.
Thanks for having us, Dan.
Thanks, Dan.
This is Vanessa Marshall, and you're listening to Coffee with Kenobi.
All right, well, I am here at the Peoria Comic and Toy Show with a real treat for fans of Star Wars animation or just pop culture. I'm here with the legendary Jim Cummings. Jim, welcome to Coffee with Kenobi.
Well, hello. It's very nice to be here. Thanks for inviting me out to play.
Absolutely. Well, just having you on the show is such a great thing. You've been such an icon for so long for, of course, Star Wars fans. Being a massive fan of Hondo Ohnaka myself, it's kind of a real treat to do. But over the years, how have you seen the business kind of adapt as technology has evolved?
Oh, gosh. I don't know. It's, I first started off, you had to travel. You had to go into the studio and this, that. Now I've got a studio at home that's really not all that expensive, and it's just as good as any studio you can go to. And I've got one that's portable, too. So it's a brave new world, but I wouldn't want to paint it.
Well, I remember James telling me he would be in a hotel and he'd have to go into the closet,
Sure.
Close the door, and create that sound environment.
Oh, yeah. All you need is a couple bath towels.
Really?
And that's about it, yeah. Very high tech.
Yes. Only the highest of high tech. How did your collaboration with Disney kind of evolve, and how did that get started?
Well, the first job I ever had was with Disney. Dumbo Circus. It was on ancient times back in the 80s, and it was for Disney Channel, and that was a brand new thing back then. It was cable TV was new. There was no satellite. I mean, it was. But I was tickled pink. I was Lionel the Lion on Dumbo Circus, and it takes me back a long way. But that's where I first jumped into these waters, and apparently I've never left. So I'm glad to be here.
Oh, we're very glad for that too. When you were growing up, were there certain characters or actors, performers that you found inspired you to get into this line of work?
Well, sure, Paul Winchell. My friend, God rest his soul, he was the original Tigger and Knucklehead Smith. And, of course, he invented one of the prototypes of the artificial heart. So how's that for a career arc? But, he's great. He's a legend. And I never got to officially meet Sterling Holloway, but I saw him in a restaurant once. And so, it's... and now here I am all these years later.
It's fabulous. Well, I have to ask you on Coffee with Kenobi about Hondo. Hondo has become such an icon, of course, the Clone Wars and Rebels. He's got a big part in Galaxy's Edge, helping to control Falcon.
Galaxy's Edge. Yes, of course. Well, I can't imagine the joy that it must be for you to meet me today. But yeah, Hondo, I love Hondo. And one of my favorite things is, I guess, what was it, Vanity Fair had a 2-page spread on it, and it was the top 12 phrases of Hondo Ohnaka, and I made up 10 of them.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, it was a gas, Well, I may not be as young as I once was, but I'm older.
Well, so I would have loved to have been in the booth with you and Dave, because I'm assuming that you kind of crafted this character. Did he let you kind of improv?
Sure, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Dave's a genius, obviously. And, he's a very creative guy. And he used to just encourage me to go. But, it's his fault, damn it. Hondo's his fault, not mine. But, no, I'm very proud of it.
Yeah. What is it about Hondo you think people respond to so well, besides the performance?
Well, he's very spontaneous, and he's very, it's interesting. Make no mistake, he's in it for the money, but he's got his own morals. I mean, he won't allow someone to come to harm. through any of his machinations, and he's good with kids, and so I like the guy. I think everybody loves the lovable rogue, and he's the epitome of that.
And then in Rebels, he befriends Ezra, and then Ezra kind of brings out this side of him where he's still about what can benefit him, but he becomes, dare I say, altruistic in helping Ezra.
Oh yeah, well he's very much, like I say, he's on their side. And I remember the one of the closing scenes when they were finalizing that series was Ezra. They cut a deal. And then right at the last minute, Ezra decides to cut him out of it. And so I don't remember what the real line that they wrote was, but I said, I looked at him and I made a mean face and I said, I am so proud of you right now. And he looks at me, and I said, that is the perfect answer. I tell you this, Ezra. If I had more time to spend with you, I would make you the best. Blah blah. And he goes, "All right, now I'm done. Give me my cut. I have to go."
I can pause if somebody's going to meet you real quick.
That's okay.
Well, I mean, and then of course, what a transition! You go from Hondo to Winnie the Pooh. They're very, very different. Winnie the Pooh is not about.
What? I went from Winnie the Pooh to Hondo.
Oh, true, but just for this crazy interview.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What about him? Yeah.
So what is it that you love about Pooh Bear?
Well, I enjoy a smackerel of honey every now and then, and I certainly enjoy a little bouncing. Everybody loves to bounce. Isn't that right? See, your son agrees. So, yeah, it's all good. Comes out in the wash.
Well, it must be fun for you, too. Like when you're performing, you're usually in a booth or with a bath towel. But then when you get to do it
yelling in the background.
Yeah, which is so helpful with the acoustics, isn't it? Yeah, just what you want. But to see my son's face light up, I mean, undoubtedly you've had this experience countless times with your family and things like that. It must really fill your heart.
It does. I mean, when my career first started, my eldest was very young, and she'd have her friends come over. And they'd be sitting there grinning, staring at me, waiting for me to sound like Winnie the Pooh or Darkwing or somebody. And she would come over and go, "Okay, Dad, this is Laura. Please don't do any voices. Please don't do any voices." And I said, "Missy, those voices are going to put you through college. You better watch what you say." And so far, so good.
So far, so good. Well, I can't tell you what an honor it is and a pleasure. Thank you for spending time with us, and I hope you have an incredible time here in Peoria at this con, and I hope you make tons of money. I'll cut that power art.
Yeah. Well, I hope what you hope. So thank you, and come on down, say hello to me, folks. I'll be here all day today, which is Saturday, and all day tomorrow, which is, I believe, Sunday. So that works out, right?
Yeah. Your math is good.
Yeah.
Listening to Coffee with Kenobi, you are, with Dan Z, the podcast you're looking for. This is.
What a fun show. That is going to do it for this week's episode of Coffee with Kenobi. I want to thank Steve Sansweet, Anne Neumann, and Jim Cummings for joining me on Coffee with Kenobi. The website is coffeewithkenobi.com for Star Wars news, announcements, reviews, videos, and more. The official travel partner of Coffee with Kenobi is MAI and Mouse Fan Travel. Again, be sure to go to coffeewithkenobi.com/DisneyWish to get your name in there so you can join us on the high seas as we go into a brand new place. Well, it's not brand new, it's new to me, but it's been out for a year. It's got the Disney Wish. It's an amazing cruise. If you've never been on a Disney cruise, honestly, there's nothing like it. It might be my favorite Disney thing that I've ever done, besides the glorious Star Cruiser, which is no longer in operation. But boy, oh boy, did we have fun as a group touring that last year. And if you didn't get a chance to join us on the Halcyon, now you get a chance to get that experience of Coffee with Kenobi and Mouse Fan Travel traveling together. It's so much fun. So many of you have already signed up. I can't wait to cruise with you. I'm bringing my family with me. It's going to be a wonderful experience, and I can't think of no one better to join me and my family and our friends on the Disney Wish with all these Star Wars experiences on this incredible cruise ship than you. Again, go to coffeewithkenobi.com/Disney Wish for your no cost, no obligation quote. The Facebook group is in the CWK Cafe. That is coffeewithkenobi.com/community for Star Wars thoughts, comments, reviews, and opinions in a family-friendly, spoiler and drama-free place. This show is sponsored by you, the members of the CWK Alliance. Because of you, this podcast, the website, event coverage, and so much more comes to life. Find out how you can help and support the show for as little as $1 a month by joining the CWK Alliance. And when you join the CWK Alliance, you get access to CWK Pour-Over, the exclusive weekly audio and video podcast not available anywhere else. Members at the CWK Alliance All-Star level receive a video edition of CWK Pour-Over and access to a private Facebook group. Find out more and join the CWK Alliance at coffeewithkenobi.com/CWK Alliance, and 10% of all of your monthly contributions will go directly to the St. Jude Children's Hospital. Got a comment or a question for the show? You can email me, danzy at coffeewithkenobi.com. Connect with me on X at Mr. Zehr, MRZEHR, or on Instagram and Threads, Dan Zehr, CWK, and on LinkedIn. Coffee with Kenobi is on all your social media platforms. You can subscribe to Coffee with Kenobi's YouTube channel. And hey, while you are there and you're feeling like, you know what, I want to support Coffee with Kenobi even more, which I absolutely appreciate, go to rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. The store is coffeewithkenobi.com/shop to get a Coffee with Kenobi t-shirt, logo mug, or any other kind of fun little offerings like mouse pads, stickers, lots of cool stuff. If you need a speaker for an upcoming event, you can book me, danzmedia.com. I can attend your school, conference, business, or organization. Thank you, by the way, so much, as always, for joining me for a virtual cup of coffee. You know, I said like a month ago that I was just going to be giving you some classics from the CWK Pour-Over Vault so that you can find out what it was like to be a member of the CWK Alliance. And in that time, I've had nothing but amazing interviews come up that I had to be sure to be a part of because they're just so great. There's so many great people in this community, and I hope you are enjoying the show as much as I'm enjoying bringing it to you. I truly appreciate your time and look forward to the next opportunity to talk Star Wars with you. I am Dan Zehr, reminding you that this is the podcast you're looking for.
This podcast is not endorsed by the Walt Disney Company or Lucasfilm Limited. It is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. The official Star Wars website can be found at www.starwars.com. Star Wars, all names, sounds, and any other Star Wars-related items are registered trademarks and or copyrights of Disney and their respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of Coffee with Kenobi unless otherwise indicated.
This is the podcast you're looking for.